Hello everyone, my name is PlasmaMuffin and welcome to my fictional characters power tier list. In this video I'm going to be ranking a bunch of different fictional characters based on how powerful I think they are. So this video is very different from pretty much everything I've done before, but that's okay because I want to do it. So I don't have the I'm not using the thing that pretty much everyone uses to make tier lists. I'm actually just using MS Paint because I looked up how to make tier lists and it's like you have to make an account on a website and stuff, and it's real complicated, and I just didn't want to deal with that, so I'm just going to do this. Also, I don't have pictures, I just have letters, because one, that fits better, and two, I didn't want to have to get pictures for every single one of these characters. So they're going to be from various different types of media: books, movies, TV shows, video games, pretty much everything. So here are the rankings. F is weak. That is for characters that are weaker than an average human would be. So like a child, for example, would go here. D is for average. That's about as strong as an average human. Don't really think I need to explain that. C is strong, so that's like a strong human. It's like a normal human, but a strong one. So like maybe someone who's in the military or something. B is supernatural. That is so strong that a normal mortal human could not become this powerful unless they had some kind of outside help, like either technology or magic. So that's B. A is overpowered, and that is going to be for characters that are so powerful that they're just like, they're not invincible, but they're very powerful, and like they're more than just supernaturally powerful. And S is for basically invincible. So, and then there's E, which is unknown, varies, does not apply, not applicable. So that's going to be for anything that really doesn't go here for whatever reason. So, let's get started. So the first character I have here is Harry Potter. So clearly he's going to be above strong and into supernatural because he has magic. So I'm going to put him here. Also, I have a lot of room here, so I'm going to do like upper tier, middle tier, and lower tier of each letter, just in case there's some that just barely fits in one category. So for Harry Potter, that's the thing about the magic system in Harry Potter. It's kind of like, it's not completely fleshed out, so I'm just going to put him here in supernatural, roughly in the middle, because that's about where I think he would go. Not 100% sure about that. I guess, well, see, the thing is, he has stunning spells, which you can use to immediately incapacitate pretty much anything, unless they're overly strong. So I'm gonna put him in, let's say, upper supernatural. I think that should be fair. Alright, yeah, I'm happy with that. Next up is Vin from Mistborn. By the way, this is going to contain lots of spoilers for all these different types of media, books, games, etc. I'm going to keep the spoilers as light as I can, but there's some I'm not going to be able to avoid. So yeah, I guess, like, I don't know, just I'll put a thing in the beginning of the video to tell you what there's spoilers for, because right now I don't know exactly what all the spoilers will be. So yeah. So next up is Vin from Mistborn, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Vin is in upper supernatural, maybe lower overpowered. Because, well, the thing is, she needs metal to use her powers, and Harry has pretty much infinite power. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, once you place one of them, then you start ranking all the others based on how they would do compared to that other one, which is also fun, but it gets confusing. This is going to be a long video. If you want to see just where I put everything, you can just skip to the end and you'll see all the names here. Well, let's think about how, like, if they were in a fight, who would win? Vin has healing. I don't think Harry has spells that can heal him. Yeah, he doesn't. There are some spells that can heal, like broken bones and stuff, but I don't know if you can cast them on yourself, and Harry doesn't know any of them. I'm going off of Harry from the last book and Vin from, I guess, the beginning of the last book here, because Vin at the end of the last book would be completely different, and completely different ranking, not going to say how. Honestly, I'm thinking Vin would be more powerful. She can fly pretty much unaided. Harry can't do that. She can... Oh, she can't heal. Why was I saying that? She can't heal. Harry can't heal either. Vin can... Vin has extreme strength. She can be super strong. Harry doesn't have it. He has, like, levitation spells, but they only work on certain things. So, like, something that's super heavy wouldn't be... He wouldn't be able to lift. I'm gonna say Vin is higher than Harry, because... I don't know, that just feels right. I mean, the magic system in Harry Potter is... It's so vague, it's hard to categorize definitely. So I'm gonna put Vin in low overpowered. Kaladin... He is going to be in high overpowered. Because... Hear me out on this one. So Kaladin versus Vin. This is something I've thought quite a lot about. Kaladin can heal. Vin can't. That immediately gives Kaladin a huge advantage. By the way, this is Kaladin from the Stormlight Archives. If I haven't mentioned that, which I haven't. So Kaladin can heal, Vin can't. That immediately gives him a huge advantage, because once Vin takes a hit, she's going to be losing pewter for the whole rest of the fight, just to compensate for the wound. And the more injured she gets, the faster she'll drain her pewter, and once it goes down, then she's about as vulnerable as a normal person. And if she's injured at the time, she's probably not going to make it. So, so yeah, there's that. Also, he has a shard blade, which is incredibly overpowered. And so that's just, like, one hit from that would completely disable her. He can also use Stormlight on things to change their gravity, or, like, she can shoot coins at him, but he could block them with a shield. She could hurt him, but he would heal. Her best bet would be to get in close, but then he would be able to use a shard blade, so that's just... He's just objectively more powerful, honestly. Unless Vin pulls off some kind of trick with Duralumin, which is possible. Or... See, the thing is, Kaladin could just reverse her gravity so she falls upwards, and that'd be the end of it, honestly. There's probably not much she could do about that. Or he could just lash her into place and kill her with a shard blade. But the thing is, they both have... The magic systems in both of these books kind of are the same. They run on the same thing, investiture, just different manifestations of it. And I'm pretty sure you can't use investiture to alter things that are already invested with investiture. So he probably won't be able to directly use Stormlight on Vin. And likewise, you probably wouldn't... Well, I don't know if she would be able to use emotional allomancy on him, because he doesn't have copper. And the thing is, even other Mistborn are vulnerable to emotional allomancy if they're not burning copper. So just being invested with investiture does not block emotional allomancy, and that combined with Duralumin could probably stun Kaladin for long enough for Vin to kill him. And he could die, because like, even with Stormlight healing him, like, if you take enough damage fast enough, you can't heal from it. Like, if you got smashed by a planet, for example, that would basically deal infinite hit points, so to speak, all at once, and healing isn't going to compensate for that kind of... It would have to heal, like, each individual molecule as soon as it got damaged, which is not how fast that does. If it was a strength contest, Vin would win hands down, because Stormlight doesn't really give extra strength. It just prevents you from getting tired. So Kaladin would be strong, but he doesn't have any extra strength. There was one more thing I wanted to mention, but I forgot what it was. Atium. Vin could do really well against Kaladin if she had Atium. But she probably won't. Oh yeah. Also, Vin has separate mana pools, basically separate ammo pools for each type of ability. Kaladin uses Stormlight for everything, so theoretically she could just drain him of Stormlight by hitting him, or she could just shoot coins at him and force him to either block them with Stormlight or take the hit and heal up, or something else like that. They can both kind of fly, but Kaladin's fly is a lot stronger than Vin's and doesn't require being near a source of metal. So yeah, Kaladin is definitely more powerful than Vin. Just the healing alone makes him more powerful, unless... Yeah, the healing alone makes him more powerful than Vin, and then the fact that he has a shard blade, either of those alone would, I think, bump him up above Vin. But then there's the emotional allomancy and Atium. Things like writing and soothing emotions and Duralumin, that's really the only way I see Vin beating Kaladin. So it kind of depends on the circumstances, I guess, and what abilities each of them have. If Kaladin had, like, Shard Plate, which he doesn't in the books right now, as of the third book anyway, then it'd be no contest. He would win regardless, I think. But yeah, I've talked enough about that. Next up, Gandalf. Gandalf, I'm going to put him in upper overpowered. He's not quite invincible, but he took down a Balrog before he got a power upgrade. So I'm going to say that's... Balrogs are probably pretty strong. Of course, the thing is, he also... Like in Lord of the Rings, the magic system is basically based off of... It's basically, like, dependent on the gods. Like, there's one god, and then there's a bunch of, like, mini-gods, and there's, like, demigods, which I think is where Sauron is. And Gandalf, I think he's on that level as well. And, like, his powers are literally never specified, but I'm guessing he would be up here, given that he killed a Balrog. And that was before his power upgrade. So yeah. Next up, Voldemort. In terms of intelligence, I would rank him pretty low, but I'm not doing that. I'm ranking him based off of, like, general power level. I'm going to put him in low overpowered, because his Horcruxes make him very strong. Not invincible, but very strong. Very resistant to death and stuff. He's also really good at spells and things. So regardless of the circumstance or whatever, again, the magic system in Harry Potter is pretty vague. So, yeah, I'm going to say he's on par with Vin, just about. Next up, Sauron. I'm going to put him in medium overpowered. Actually, should I put him below Gandalf? Does that make sense? I feel like that doesn't make sense. Okay, we'll put him in high overpowered. Most of these characters are pretty much the same spot. Because, okay, if I put him in low invincible if he was like Silmarillion or Prologue Sauron, because then he was like a minor god or a demigod at that point. But then in The Lord of the Rings, he's just an eye. Like, he can control orcs, and he has the ring which can influence people. And he can, like, see really far away and stuff, but that's kind of it. But just the fact that he can control so many orcs. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to move both Gandalf and Sauron down to medium overpowered. Yeah. Yeah, that seems legit. Next up, the Drifter from Hyperlight Drifter. He is going to go into Supernatural, medium Supernatural. Because he has the dash ability. He can block or dash through projectiles. Technically, the projectiles he avoids are really slow-moving plasma, laser, or energy projectiles. But I'm guessing that in the spirit of the game, it would probably work on bullets, too. Like, I think that in universe, the guns are supposed to be about as powerful as guns in real life. Maybe not. Regardless, I'm putting him here, because he has multiple guns he can use. He has his sword, which can cut through pretty much anything, except like stone. It can't cut through like solid stone very well. It's basically just a really good sword, not quite as good as a shard blade. He's also got he can teleport, sort of, but he can't teleport in combat, but he can teleport out of combat. And also he can heal quite a bit. He's very agile, but he'd be below Harry Potter because he doesn't have... Harry is, like, his individual power strength level is low, but he has so many different spells he can use that makes up for it. Yeah. Next up, Sekiro from Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. He's going up here with Kaladin in high overpowered, because the thing is, he is technically immortal. He could go actually in low, and I'm going to put him in invincible, because technically, because he has the Dragon's Heritage ability, he can resurrect. So he's effectively immortal, effectively invincible. Although the thing about that is, like, in-game, he can only resurrect 1, 2, or maximum 3 times before he dies permanently. Generally, you only get 1 resurrection per life most of the time. But, like, in-universe, he can resurrect as much as he wants. I'm not sure exactly what happens when he, like, in-universe when he dies, but given that he can only be killed by, like, permanently by something like the Mortal Blade, taking him out would require incapacitating him somehow rather than just flat out killing him, because he'll just resurrect from that. And then there's the fact that he has the Mortal Blade, he has all the prosthetic tools, he is really skilled with a sword, he has a grappling hook, so he's really agile, really fast, he can do all sorts of fancy supernatural sword skills. So without the invincibility part, without the Dragon's Heritage Resurrection, I'd say he'd be upper supernatural, lower overpowered. But with that, I mean, it literally says invincible there. Also, this has a colon and the others don't for some reason. That's cool. But yeah, he's going to go there just because of that. I suppose I could put Voldemort there because he has Horcruxes, but the thing is, Horcruxes run out, and I think Sekiro's ability is technically unlimited. Okay, next up, the Hunter from Bloodborne. It's cool having, like, so many different genres, like video games and books and stuff. So the Hunter... I'm going to put the Hunter in low overpowered. because just the crazy amount of things a hunter can survive and go through without dying and stuff is pretty crazy. So the hunter basically never gets tired. I mean, that's kind of a game mechanic requirement, but it feels like it would be part of the hunter's natural abilities as well. The hunter sort of has immortality in that he only he respawns in the hunter's dream whenever he dies, but I don't know exactly how canon that is, so I'm just gonna say that he can't do that. But like the hunter with a fully upgraded weapon, blood gems, all stats maxed, like canonically, there's just so many like trick weapons and things. And then there's spells and there's blood vials. Just the sheer amount of healing the hunter has would make him almost impossible to take down. The only reason it's hard is because he's facing things that are even worse. So yeah, I'm gonna put the hunter up there. Yeah. Oh, by the way, something about Harry Potter is that even though theoretically he could just use stunning spells on all these other characters, it's shown in Harry Potter that stunning spells are less effective against particularly tough enemies, whether that's magical toughness or just physical toughness. It's like Hagrid, giant spiders, other magical creatures like dragons and things. They all require multiple stunning spells to be taken down, so it wouldn't be a one-hit knockout for that. Although it might work on the Drifter, honestly, which is why he's lower. Next up, the Unkindled One from Dark Souls 3. I chose that because that's really the only Dark Souls game I've played. I played the second one, but I didn't like it very much. I've not played the first one yet, but the Unkindled One would be... He's undead, so technically he's invincible. I can heal quite a lot with Estus, and with all the weapons. He's basically an undead warrior that is as smart as a normal human, can use magic, has a bunch of powerful weapons and swords and stuff, swords and bows and everything, and technically can't die. So I'm going to put him up here with Sekiro. Yeah, that seems good. Next up, the Hollow Knight from Hollow Knight. This is going to require some explanation. Okay, so the Hollow Knight requires a bit of creative liberties, because the thing is, he's technically a bug. So most of these characters, even just the average or even weak characters, could probably just squish him with their foot, and that would 1 or 2 hit kill him. But just for the sake of making things actually interesting, I'm gonna be assuming that he's like roughly human size. I'm gonna say like 2 or 3 feet tall, because that feels legit. Because he's supposed to be, like, compared to the other bugs, he's small. Like, they make a point that he's pretty small. Also, I'm calling him a he, even though he technically, I don't think, has a gender. He's kind of on par with the Drifter, honestly. He can heal, he can dash, he can climb walls, which the Drifter can't do, but that's because that's a 2D game, or a top-down game. Hollow Knight is also 2D. You can teleport as well with Dream Gates. He has spells, charms. Oof. See, the thing is, I'm trying to think how strong he would be, like, if he were of a size that he could compete with humans. He's at least as strong as a Drifter. I would say probably stronger. Pretty much all of the Drifter's dashes allow him to block some projectiles, but only one of the Hollow Knights does, the Shade Cloak. Honestly, I'm thinking he's on par with the Drifter. Yeah, let's put him there. Put him with the Drifter. Next up is Vasher from Warbreaker. I have not read that book in like a year, 2 years. It's been a while. But from what I remember, it depends on how many breaths he has. Basically, how much magical ammo he's got. I put him in low supernatural if he's just got a few. Well, no, he has the sword too, Nightblood. That bumps him up a bit. Even if he doesn't technically use it for its normally intended purpose. I'm going to put him on par with Harry Potter, because the magic system in that one book, what's it called? Warbreaker? That seems to be about the same. Like, you can do quite a lot with it. It's not super powerful on its own, but you can do quite a lot with it. So I'm going to put him on the same level as Harry Potter. High supernatural. Next up, the Survivor from Risk of Rain. This is going to be tricky, because this depends entirely on what items he has. If he has no items, he would be... I would say he'd be as strong, because he's just a dude with a gun. But if he has enough items, he's up there with invincible. I'm just going to go with roughly the amount of items he would be assumed to have at the end of the first game. So, roughly how powerful you are at the end of any average run. My cat wants to help. Do you want to be on the tier list, huh? Do you want to help, huh? I'm thinking... Okay, he's definitely above strong because he's got all the items to buff him up. And some of them are supernatural, so he's definitely in the supernatural category. Much like pretty much all of them. They're all in two categories. Almost, kind of, sort of three. So he's in supernatural at least. I suppose I don't know if I should give him unlimited ammo. I'm going to say no, but I'm going to say he's got a lot of ammo. I'm going to put him on par with Vasher and Harry Potter, because he killed Providence, and I'm thinking Providence is probably around that strength. Alright, next up we got Leah from Crosscode, which probably none of you are going to know about. What should I do here? Definitely above strong. I guess it depends on how leveled up she is, honestly, because her skills vary. I could put in E, Unknown varies NA, because she ranges from strong to overpowered. I'm just gonna average it out and go with supernatural. That seems legit. Alright, next up, Kendra and Seth from Fablehaven. I'm putting them together because they're effectively the same power level. They're just different types of power. Kendra's light and Seth is dark. If you're hearing weird sounds, that's my cat. He wants to snuggle right now. They're not really fighters, though. So it's kind of weird putting them here. I just wanted to include something from Fablehaven because it's a cool book series. Like, physically, they are not very strong. Physically, they're average. They have a couple abilities that would bump them up to strong. If they have Vasilis, then they're up to supernatural. Maybe even overpowered or invincible. But on their own, I would say low supernatural. Or high strong. Technically, they're in supernatural. But because they're, you know, kids or young teenagers, they're pretty weak physically, don't really have much combat experience. That would put them in average or weak for that. But then they have their abilities. But then their abilities aren't really made for combat. I can't put them up there. That's a bit too high. I'm gonna say low strong, or just medium strong. Yeah, because they require special circumstances. In a straight up fight, their power level is very low. They need something like Vasilis to help them, or something like that. They're basically like repositories of magical energy, and if they don't have it, they're like batteries, kind of. If they don't have anything to use that energy, that power on, then they're pretty weak. So I'm going to say strong. Next up, Providence from Risk of Rain. I'm going to put him up here with the Survivor, because the Survivor beat him, but he's also implied to be like an immortal being, like a demigod or something. So I'm just going to put him there. Next up, Judgment from Hyperlight Drifter. Even if you played the game, you probably don't know what this is. This is the final boss. It's called Judgment. It's never mentioned in the game itself, but I think it's like an achievement or something. Anyway, he's definitely going to be above supernatural. I'm thinking he might be as powerful as Voldemort. Yeah, because he made that disease, didn't he? That affected the Drifter. Yeah, he's definitely on par with the Hunter. Wait a minute. Wouldn't Vasher be stronger than the Hunter? I'm rethinking this. I can edit it later. Next up, we have Zotta Mighty, just for kicks and giggles. He is clearly going in lower F, because he's a bug, and he can't even hurt other bugs. He literally cannot hurt you. And his ego is humongous, so he's very stupid. So yeah, he goes down there without question. I just added him because I wanted that to be funny. Next up, Percy Jackson. It's been a while since I read the Percy Jackson books, but he's definitely above strong. He's in supernatural. He's got really good sword skills. So he's good at fighting in and of itself. He's also got his demigod powers. But his demigod powers they're very specific. In some circumstances, they can be incredibly powerful. In others, they don't help very much. If he's away from water, he's not very strong. But if he's in water, he's almost unstoppable. So I could put him in Varys, but I don't really want to do that. That's just for like the ones I just absolutely cannot decide because they just don't fit. I almost put Kendra and Seth in there, actually. I'm gonna say, okay, he blew up a volcano once. That's pretty impressive. I'm gonna put him up here, on par with Providence. Now I'm rethinking the Hunter. I don't think I should put the Hunter up here. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. Next up, Carter Kane from the Kane Chronicles. It's been a very long time since I've read those books either. Those are my favorite Rick Riordan books, by the way. Favorite series. I'm going to put him... Okay, so let's see. He's got a sword. He's good at fighting. And he's a magician, so he has a bunch of different magical spells he can use, including, like, transformation and stuff. I'd say he's stronger than Harry Potter, honestly. He beat Set. Yeah, he's going to be up here. Is he stronger than Percy Jackson, though? Well, no, he beat Set because he was the avatar of Horus at the time. I'm going to put him up here. Upper supernatural. Yeah, I'm not putting the Hunter up here. That just does not work. I'm going to put him in low supernatural. It's kind of messy because I have to move everything exactly to where I want. Next up, the Lord Ruler from Mistborn. Again, major spoilers for Mistborn. Like, if you haven't read Mistborn, then stop watching this video immediately because this is massive spoilers and it's just too good of a book to be spoiled. So just, if you're still watching right now, then I'm just going to assume that you've read the books. Technically, Vin did kill the Lord Ruler, but I would say that he's still pretty powerful. I would put him in invincible, honestly, because he pretty much is. Not technically invincible, but he's powerful enough that I would say he would count, because he lived for hundreds of years. Didn't he live like 1,000 years or something? Yeah, I think it was like that. Anyway, he lived for a very long time. He had a ton of power. He definitely needs to be up here. Next up, Luke Skywalker from, I almost said Lord of the Rings, from Star Wars. He's basically just symbolizing Jedis in general here, but I don't know much about different Jedi powers because I haven't seen all the Star Wars thingies, so I'm just going to do Luke himself here. He's definitely in Supernatural. I'm gonna put him here because he has a lightsaber. That's really good, but yeah, he has a lightsaber, and the Force, but I don't think that's enough. Honestly, the Drifter's kind of pretty much the same as a Jedi. Like, they can get a lot more powerful, or if they're just beginning, they can be a lot less powerful, but I'm gonna put Luke himself here. Next up, River Tam from Firefly. Now, if you've not watched all the episodes of Firefly, the full season, as well as the sequel or wrap up, the finale movie Serenity, there's going to be huge spoilers for that here too, because I'm going to be discussing stuff that happens at the end, the very end of the whole Firefly story. You have been warned. So, she's definitely above strong. I'm going to say low supernatural because she's kind of clairvoyant. And she's very powerful when it comes to fighting. Like, she took down an army of Reavers. But things like, I feel like ranged attacks could still hurt her. And also, like, she can only move as fast as a human can. So technically, her physical strength would be as strong, but I'm going to put her at supernatural, because she's a little more than an average strong person would be, just because of all the, like, scientific experimentation and stuff they did with her. Next up, the Dragonborn from Skyrim. Definitely at least here. I would say up here. Oh, I've run out of room. Oh, that's going to be fun. I'm actually thinking he might be an overpowered, because with, like, Dragonbone or Daedric armor, as well, like, fully enchanted gear, plus all the shouts, and high skills. Like, the Dragonborn has magic, archery, sword fighting, or hammer fighting, or whatever kind of weapon you want to use. He can pretty much do anything, and he also has multiple types of magic. I'm going to assume the shouts have a cooldown, because that just makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to say he's up here. And that's not just because I ran out of room there. That's actually what I think. Also, I want to move Judgment up just a couple pixels, because there we go. There we go. Okay, next up, Batman. From Batman. I'm not choosing a specific Batman here, just Batman in general. Generic Batman. Without all his gadgets, he would be in upper strong, because he's just a normal human. But with all his gadgets and his intelligence and stuff, yeah, with all his gadgets and technology and his intelligence, I'd say he's up here with the Drifter and Luke Skywalker and stuff, because he's got a lot of tech and a lot of brains and stuff. Alright, next up, Prince Rayden from Elantris. This is probably the one that I remember the least, because it has been an incredibly long time since I read Elantris. And I only read it once. I read, like, the Percy Jackson books multiple times. And the Kane Chronicles, read those multiple times. But I only read this once. I had to look up his name, because I couldn't remember it. Elantrians in general are pretty powerful. I'm going to say above Harry Potter, actually, because technically they can live forever. I'm going to say Elantrians are on par with Gandalf, honestly, if they're at the peak of their power and not in their weakened state. Yeah, definitely. Alright. None of them are average so far. That's crazy. Next up, we have Kerrigan Galadhian from Green Rider. One of the more obscure entries here. So she's basically a normal person. She does have one magical ability, and that is to turn invisible, which could really help in a fight, but it really only works if she's in darkness. Kind of like Seth's ability, actually. But Kerrigan is a lot more like, she's actually trained in fighting and combat. I'm gonna put her on par with River, because she has like one supernatural ability, but she's also really good at just normal vanilla fighting. So I'm gonna say that she's on par with River. Next up, Magix from Neopets. Okay, this is probably the one that no one is going to get or understand, because he's from Neopets, and like no one knows about that in most circles. So he's definitely above strong. I'd say he's somewhere in supernatural. He can fly. He can summon a supernatural axe. He can potentially shoot projectiles, beams of energy, but that was just in the game. But then the game is kind of representative of how he would be in the lore itself. And the thumbnail for the game shows him shooting lightning at a ghost. And he is capable of killing ghosts, which in and of itself is pretty impressive. So I'm gonna say high supernatural. He might have more abilities that we just don't know about, because really the only ones we know of are he's practically immortal, isn't he? Given his backstory is that like he was a super overpowered, or not overpowered, like super evil. He was the right hand of Hubert Knox for like hundreds or thousands of years or something like that. I'm going to put him up here with the Dragonborn. That just seems right. With all the abilities he's shown, I would put him down here. But given that he's also immortal, he doesn't age. He's incredibly old. He can fly. He can summon an axe, shoot lightning, green magic lightning, and maybe probably some other things. I would put him up here with the Dragonborn. The last one I have here is Jin Sakai from Ghost of Tsushima. Now let's see. I haven't actually played Ghost of Tsushima. I have been watching a playthrough, but I haven't finished it. But from what I've seen, I don't think there's any like supernatural elements in it. So technically, I think he would be up at strong, high strong. Maybe a little supernatural, because he does have a lot of... He has a lot of like different weapons to use. Like he has bombs, he has fire arrows, he has kunai. He also has really good armor and weapons. Like, again, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I think I can guess where, like, what point, what power level he would end up at. And I feel like he would be about here. Sort of like the medieval equivalent of Batman. So, with the lower technology level, I would say that that's a good spot to put him. Now, I also thought of another one that I wanted to add. That is Sazed from Mistborn. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. So, let's see here. Definitely in Supernatural. I don't think he would be overpowered level, because he just has Furukumi, and while that is strong, it's not insanely overpowered. Unless you combine it with Allomancy. Like, Allomancy and Furukumi, like, separate, they're powerful. Together, they're even more powerful, and when you have, like, the compounding, then that's S tier, invincible, because you basically have unlimited resources. So, obviously he can't do that. I'm gonna say, given that he doesn't really have any, like, combat experience, I'm thinking either mid or high Supernatural, mid or high B, but I can't decide which one. I'm gonna say mid. Yeah, because he has to store up the attributes in order to use them, so I feel like that's probably where he would be. Now let's just go through this list again, make sure everything's in the right place. So we have the Lord Ruler in Invincible. That makes sense. We have, because at one point he like I don't know if this was canon, because it was a character talking about it in the story itself and not something that was shown in the story. So technically it happened before the events of Mistborn, but there was a story about him healing from just being a skeleton, which is pretty impressive. So definitely he would be up here. Sekiro, yeah, he's pretty much, I would say he goes up here, because just below the Lord Ruler, because he is technically invincible. He can't die. And he also he has tons of shinobi tools and the prosthetic and grappling hook and stuff, as well as his sword skills and the Mortal Blade, which allows him to kill things that are normally invincible otherwise, normally immortal. So that, yeah, I think that's good. Unkindled one from Dark Souls 3, pretty much the same as Sekiro. Seems legit. Kaladin, and overpowered because of his healing and all the other Stormlight abilities, and the Shard Blade, of course. Gandalf. Would Gandalf be more powerful than Voldemort? That's the question. I don't know. Okay, I'm pretty sure Gandalf is lower than Sauron. So let's... Like, he did beat a Balrog, technically. But... while they may be technically the same level in terms of the lore, they are different power levels. So I'm going to lower him. Can put him down here. Let's see. Whoops, I took out a chunk of the black line there. This is very difficult when it doesn't just snap to what you're doing. There we go. Okay, so he's down here. I don't think Prince Rayden would be up with Sauron, would he? I mean, he did teleport like an entire city several miles. Like many miles. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, I think he would be up there with Sauron, honestly, because that's pretty powerful. Vin on par with Voldemort. Would he be, though? Or would she be? That's the question. Yeah, boy, this is hard. I know this is going to be a super long video. Hope that's not annoying for anyone. For me, I'm just having fun doing this. But let's see here. I think Voldemort would be more powerful than Vin because he doesn't need ammo. I don't think he wouldn't be on par with Sauron, though. Well, Sauron in Lord of the Rings was pretty weak, actually. So I feel like I can't really justify bumping Vin down because, like, she could, again, spoilers, she could control an army of Colossus, and she and Ellen managed to take down several Inquisitors, even ones that were enhanced with ferrochemical abilities, and thusly compounding, probably. So, I'd say she's up here. Voldemort, yeah, that seems legit. Judgment from Hyperlight Drifter. Yeah, because I think it's implied that Judgment was the source of the plague or sickness that the Drifter was afflicted with. Potentially, I don't know if Judgment was like in control of any of the enemies in the game or any of the bosses or anything. I don't know. I'm gonna keep him up there. Dragonborn, yeah, that I have no issues with Dragonborn being up there. Magix or Magax. Yeah. I'm honestly thinking he might be higher though. I'm gonna bump him up higher. My mouse speed is actually pretty high, so it's difficult to do exact things, exact measurements, or whatever you want to call them. I can't do control movement thingies very well. There, that's what I was trying to say. Alright. Harry Potter's not on par with Providence. I'm sorry. Providence, I'm gonna have to bump him up, for sure. He's at least Gandalf level. Because I forgot that he is also basically immortal. Most likely. I mean, I doubt he's been on the planet for only, like, I don't know, 30 years or whatever. So that, yeah, he's got to be up there. I don't think he would be Sauron level, though. Not quite. I was going to say not quite Sauron level, but the thing is, I forgot that he controlled the entire planet. He literally sent the entire planet to attack the Survivor. I'm bumping him up here, actually, because he's actually on par with Sauron, because he had literally an entire planet. And technically, I think Sauron only controlled one continent. Maybe he could have controlled an entire planet, potentially, if that was there. But I'm thinking Providence is higher, or at least on par with Sauron. So Harry Potter, yeah, Vasher. I'm pretty sure that what is it called? It's like light something, light weaving. No, isn't that what Shallan does? I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, I'm pretty sure Harry Potter and Vasher are on par. Oh yeah, Vasher lived like, I forgot. He was like a powerful. He was like a god, kind of, wasn't he? I'm actually gonna bump him up. I completely forgot about that, honestly. He's Gandalf tier. I'm gonna call that Gandalf tier now, because he's the one that I associate with that tier. Alright, the Survivor on par with Harry Potter. Yeah, the Survivor doesn't have as much utility abilities. Like, he can't, like Harry Potter can, levitate stuff and all that, but the Survivor can deal insane amounts of damage, enough to kill Providence. Although in and of himself, he's not that powerful. He needs all the items. So I would say roughly Harry Potter tier on average. Percy Jackson, yeah, that seems legit. Carter Kane, I'm thinking he's about as powerful as Percy Jackson. The Hunter. For now, let's just scoot this over here while I think, because that way it'll look nicer. The Hunter, yeah, I would say in terms of power level, he's up there. The Drifter, the Hollow Knight, Leah, Luke Skywalker, Batman, Sazed. I'm not sure about Batman. Maybe I should put him in low supernatural. But then he has all that technology. I'm thinking just because of all the technology and the vast amount of resources he has at his disposal, he's up there. So River Tam, Kerrigan, and Jin Sakai are at the next level, and they are upper strong, low supernatural. Technically, there's nothing supernatural about Jin. He's just really good at combat, and he has a bunch of tricks up his sleeve. Kind of like Batman. So, yeah, I'd say that's fair. Kerrigan, in terms of pure combat capabilities and powers, her only ability is invisibility, and only really works... It kind of makes her transparent. It works better in dark areas, but it could still give her quite an edge in a fight, although it gives her headaches after she uses it, so maybe... But then she also has a bunch of other things, like the moon dial or moonstone or whatever, the glowy orb she has. I forgot what the orb is called, but it's glowy. And she has a bunch of other stuff happen. There's a whole thing with the wild magic and all that, so yeah, she goes here. River Tam, yeah, because she's got maybe not technically supernatural, but like science enhanced, lab enhanced, because she was experimented on, and she, like, of all the people that were experimented on by what they call the Alliance, I think, she was the strongest. So yeah, she did take out like an entire army of Reavers. I mean, they don't have much of a sense of self-preservation, but she still managed to avoid getting hit and all that, so she's definitely up there. Maybe even, heck, I might put her up there with Batman. Actually, yeah, that's not a bad... I'm thinking Kerrigan's probably the weakest of all of them, because Jin has a lot more abilities. Kerrigan just has her sword and she can turn invisible. I'm going to leave it at that, but Kerrigan is the lower one on here. Kendra and Seth is strong. I'm actually going to... I want to have at least something in strong, because I have strong, average, and weak are all empty. Zote doesn't really count. I'm going to put Kendra and Seth in varies. E, because it really depends on whether or not they have Vasilis or any other kind of... If they have an outlet for their magical powers and abilities, then... Like, what was that? The shrine thing, the portable shrine or whatever that was. The stone. Yeah, the stone in the third book, I think it was. And also Vasilis. And of course, Zoe is in weak. Alright, well, I think that's it. I think it's good enough. So thank you for watching this video, this incredibly long, very different video from what I normally do. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And please leave any comments or feedback or thoughts you had in the comments. So if you think that some of these could have been tiered differently, maybe if you think I should have set up the entire tier list differently, or whatever kind of feedback you have, then please let me know, because I would be very happy to discuss that in the comments. So yeah, any feedback like that, or just any other kind of video ideas, or literally anything you want to say in the comments, as long as it's not like inappropriate or spam or anything like that, go ahead. I love comments. Comments are awesome. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and have a good day. Bye-bye.